Hello and welcome to this week's LCK Power Rankings, where I go over the teams 10 through 1, give you a recap of how they did last week, kind of establish a sort of tier list in my mind, and display it to you and try and articulate it to you so you understand why teams are where they are. Obviously, this is going to not have a lot of movement. There are a couple teams that moved. But I have to factor in the fact that Red Force are using a depleted roster, as are Gen G. So, you got to kind of understand that when you take the wins and losses into account. And then the fact that DRX doesn't know what they want to run. So, let's get started. I do this for all four major regions. LPL were yesterday if you missed them. 10th place despite winning a game. That does not change the fact that the Freaks are last still. So, Freaks beat Red Force. Woohoo. Red Force, their substitutes were so bad they just chose to put Ghost as their support. They are having problems right now, and it's hard to really, take any... I don't want to get into Red Force too much because Red Force I still have to get to in the rankings. But beating Red Force isn't impressive, and they got 2-0'd by Damwon. So, really, it's not like you even took a game off of Damwon, and you really didn't convince me much. They really crushed Red Force yesterday, but, you crushed Red Force yesterday, and Red Force is having a lot of trouble. So, they're 10th place still. 9th place, dropping one spot. Our Sandbox. So, Live Sandbox drops one spot, lost to Gen G, lost to Damwon. It's hard for me to drop them, is it fair to them? I wouldn't, I guess not. You lost to two teams that are up here. However, losing to Gen G when Gen G doesn't have their real roster is kind of a slap in the face. They don't have their jungler, they don't have their support, and you lost to them. These guys were able to beat a team that, Red Force is not better than Gen G's backups. So, by comparing them, Gen G's backups are better than Red Force's backups. But they lost to backups, so they get dropped a spot. 8th place, HLE. Move up a spot. They played both of their matches at 3 games. They played DRX at 3 games, and more importantly, they played T1 to 3 games. So I give them credit. They did full 3-game series. We'll see throughout the second round robin if they can pick up wins and carry that forward, that good play, and beat teams down here. But as of right now, these teams are kind of just on their own, in my opinion. 7th place, I didn't move them. Fred at Breon beat Red Force, good for you. Lost to KT in 3 games, so they stay here. What are you gonna do? What do I have? What do I say? Fred at Breon gives me, I like that. I really wish they'd keep Sword in the lineup. I think with Sword they're better. Morgan offers you a lot more, peaks and valleys, where Sword is going to give you the same thing every week. And the way Fred Breon plays, they try and play consistent, slow, in the same game every game. They should be playing Sword. Right now they are not. Beat Red Force, lost to KT. 6th place, is Red Force. Nyanshan. Or Ninshin, or however you pronounce it. I go with Red Force because that's their secondary name. I'm not going to take anything away from them. I don't even know what they're running as a roster. I'm not even, it is what it is. We'll see how they perform after this COVID situation works itself out. But right now, I'm not dropping them from 6. I will say I liked Vital. I think Vital is a good player. Ghost was really not performing that well before, and I'd like to see how Vital looks with BDD in the lineup and the normal support. 5th place, KT. KT drops one spot. They lost to DRX, which ends up, let's just get into this real fast. So, they lost to DRX. So, straight up, those teams swap. DRX don't even know what kind of roster they want to run. They start backups and they go to their starters, and the backups were good. They won a game, went to the starters, they lost. Starters end up winning the series, but I really want DRX to figure out what they want to do with their lineup. And after doing so, they have an opportunity to perform pretty well. I think it's for the taking here because KT is gives you a lot of highs and lows. Rascal is great, but Arya yesterday was the MVP, I believe. I think I had him as my MVP, but he was on the Twisted Fate, and sometimes he doesn't. He's just not existing. He doesn't even perform. Third place, I'm not going to drop them. Third place, Gen G, beat Sandbox, lost to T1. They're running backups. Good for them. They beat Sandbox with their backups. Big win. That's not a win that is guaranteed. Losing to T1, you have backups in. Everyone was disappointed that that's what the situation was because everyone was looking forward to the starters playing the starters, but that didn't happen. So hopefully Gen G can make up for that in the second round robin. Second place, Damwon. Damwon is going to continue being second place until T1 falters. And even then, they might not be brought above T1 because, one loss shouldn't, make up for the fact that Damwon lost 3 games. But Damwon's back. They're back, and they are just as good as people expect them to be. Excuse me. But they will be better over time. And first place, no doubt, obviously. T1, undefeated, beat HLE, beat Gen G. They're the cream of the crop right now. Very, very good. There's no weakness on this team right now. And we'll see how they do going forward in the second round robin. I don't really have a lot to say about them. Right now, this is kind of how I'm viewing it. Probably T1 on their own. These two. And then probably like this. I feel like these guys know how they want to play, where these guys are young and really don't. I wish this team would be better, but it's not. So that's kind of how I have it right now in my mind. Thank you for watching this video where I covered the LCK and my Week 5 power rankings, KDF through T1. Stay tuned for tomorrow's where I do the LEC. Thursday I do the LCS. Every day I do my League of Legends Roundup as well, where I cover the games that occurred during the morning or in the instance in the over the weekend. All 4 major regions on Saturdays. So, those are like highlighted versions of what happened. I'll also do a video this week where I cover patch 12.2 and the most common matchups that occurred. I have a video up where I go over patch 12.3 and go over 6 teams that were nerfed or buffed by patch 12.3. Just basically looking at the champion usage and champion pools of their core players. I believe Gen G is listed on there because Chovy got nerfed, in my opinion. I think, yeah, he did. Can Chovy be nerfed? No. And I say that in the video. But I just go over, what the key nerfs and buffs were and which players like to use those champions. So, thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And, yeah, come back for more.